Coming to you from the Black Swan Media Studios, this is Fireside Chats, talking to the real difference makers in the world. Now, here is your host, John Crump.
What is up, people of the interwebs? My camera's a little bit crooked, but I don't care right now. I am totally wiped out from working on a secret project that I can't tell anybody about. But yes, it's a secret project, has nothing to do with anything. You guys would never, ever know what it is. Some people might be able to guess out there what I've been working on. The Rogue Banshee guessed what I was working on, but he knows what I consult on other than the gun stuff. So yeah. Busy few days, right? All right. So first, let me say I want to thank my sponsors, and that would be Tusk. Tusk is a cryptocurrency focused on the gun world.
Proudly sponsored by TUSC, the only cryptocurrency designed with the firearms market in mind, with 3-second processing times. It's the fastest cryptocurrency on the planet. With lower transaction fees than traditional credit cards. It's perfect for your e-commerce needs. For gun guys, by gun guys. Visit TUSC.network for more information and join the digital revolution.
Okay. I have no idea what's going on. It just got stuck there. Yeah, Tusk is really cool, and they're actually sponsoring a movie that we're gonna have some people on to talk about a little bit later, not today, but later. And we are also sponsored by Black Swan Tactical.
Black Swan Tactical, your number one source for 2A streetwear. With shirts, mugs, hats, patches, flags, and more. There's always something to help you rep the 2A community. All proceeds go back into our projects. Viewers and listeners can take an additional 10% off with code CRUMPY. Unapologetically pro-gun, pro-liberty, and pro-freedom gear for the front lines of the culture war.
And we are sponsored by the people just like you out there. I see Joe Drag, who's a member. He's one of our main members. You can hit that little join button below the video, or you can just go to patreon.com/John Crump and help support my projects. I'll be going out to Georgia a week from tomorrow and to go shoot guns with some YouTubers. I'm gonna bring my camera equipment. I got some questions I want to ask them. I'm gonna get to the bottom of some stuff, do some investigative journalism as I'm out there. But with that said, I want to bring on today's guest. He is the Rogue Banshee, but I just call him Jason. What is up, Jason? I got your patch, man. I showed it off.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was. It's everybody started telling me today that they started hitting everybody's mailboxes.
Yeah, I got it. Yesterday I was showing it off. I put it on my patch board, took some pictures of it on my patch board, and I'm going to be sharing those shortly.
Cool. Yeah, I'm glad you got it, because it's you've been a long time help for me, so I wanted to make sure I gave you some love back.
I have no idea how it was a long time for you.
If you think about it, we've known each other for a little over a year now.
I know, man.
It's been a crazy year. So So it's it's just one of those things that it's our 1-year anniversary, John. So I had to give you a gift.
Oh, thank you. Not much. Bohemia from Twitch. I see Darker Like Dugan out there. You guys got to check out his channel. New Shooting Gallery New England also have a channel. Swamp Dog Armor. He's doing some really cool stuff with some 3D stuff, with some stuff like that. But Darker Like Dugan, check that channel out. I see JFD. JFD got your patch too.
Yeah, he was definitely getting one. There's no way he was not getting one for for all the stuff that we've talked about offline, and especially since he gave me a one kick-ass mail drop the other day. The least I could do is send him a patch.
Dude, tell the truth, I got a fully working 320 now and a fully working Glock from those guys. Talk about mail drops. It's just, they're awesome.
Yeah. When he does a mail drop, he does a mail drop. I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah, it is very awesome. Yeah, we talk about guns and technology here. Bohemia from Twitch. We broadcast on multiple platforms from Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, D Live, Periscope, and a bunch of others, which is awesome. But yeah, okay. So, what have you been 3D printing lately?
I've been 3D printing stuff that, well, they're trying to ban.
Yeah, they can try to ban it all they want.
No, I've been working a lot with PETG, where PETG is my filament. So I've been getting out of the PLA Plus and really, I printed with PETG before.
Oh, I thought you were already out of there.
Yeah, but now I'm like getting down to the finer points of PETG, like getting the stringing under control, getting the quality of the prints up and things like that. So, I could print with it before, but getting a good print out of it was getting a little tough. So I think I'm about 2 rolls in to my printing, and I'm pretty close to having this thing nailed down.
Yeah, I mean, each filament reacts a little bit differently, right?
It does, because PLA and PLA Plus. I print with PLA Plus a lot, but it's so easy. I mean, it really is kind of stupid easy to work with. But I've worked with ABS and PETG. I'm glad I don't work with ABS anymore. ABS had some really nasty habits of warping. I was printing a vice block for an AR, and halfway through the layer started separating and it started warping, and I'm like, this really kind of sucks. And then PETG is kind of living up to what I'm looking for. It's just dialing in the temperature is a little tough with that, because PETG likes to string.
Oh yeah.
And you're printing up in the heat of ABS, but I found that just a difference of 5 degrees on my printer clean that right up.
Yeah, I hate printing with ABS.
ABS it's nasty. And then the ABS I was playing with was a low odor ABS that you can't even find anymore. And I'm like,
ABS is dying, dude.
It is. It totally is. But I've been printing for 2 years now, and it's just one of those things that I wanted to play with it, so I played with it. I'm happy to say I'm over ABS. I'd really like to start playing with some carbon fiber, though.
Yeah, carbon fiber would be nice. Dark Lake Dugan's the only one without a printer. I have a broken printer that, I mean, I don't know what's wrong with it. It might only need to be leveled, to tell you the truth. It might be something as simple as that. But if you want it, Dark, let me know. I'll hook you up. I'll just give it to you. You can do whatever the hell you want with it. Dark, it's very interesting. Dark has this YouTube channel. He has a great a great following and everything, and I went to school with his brother. So it's a big YouTube creator who is kind of close. It's kind of funny, right?
You went to school with his brother and he still talks to you?
I know, man. Isn't that crazy?
I mean, I'm surprised I still talk to you after a year.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Everyone goes there. Crazy Scotsman. Crazy Scotsman. The thing we were working on together, we're still going. It's just it just moves at the speed of a glacier, but no, or he knows what I'm talking about. I interviewed him for something. So yeah. Dark Lake Dugan says it basically makes us family. Yeah. So are you going to IV88?
I am not. I'm not going that. I really wanted to go down to the makers match. And I just can't swing that one either. I am saving up for shot.
Saving up for shot.
Yeah, I'm saving up for shot. I want to make sure I get the shot this year. Well, not this year, in January.
I get paid to go to shot.
Yeah, I know you do. Some of us are not quite that lucky. But here's the nice thing about Nick.
It's definitely not like, dude, it's work. It's not I know a lot of people go there, they go look at some cool stuff. They might write about something or make a video about something, record a video and go back. Okay, this is my day, right? I get up in the morning. I gotta go to the breakfast events, writer meetings in the morning. Then I go to like booth. I have like probably like an hour for lunch where I write while I'm eating lunch. And then after I get back, after it's over, at the very end, I go back to my room. I write for another hour or two. Then I got to go to these nighttime events. And then after that, I write for a few more hours. Then I get a couple hours of sleep and wake up and do it again.
So that's what John says really happens. But the truth is John gets up around 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, rolls out of bed, makes some coffee, surfs the internet for a little bit, and then totally lets his wife take care of the kids while he's doing this, by the way.
I did take my wife and kids a couple years ago, which was even more, I guess, even more hard. Because then I had to like entertain them too.
Yeah, that would be the hardest thing. I would be afraid to take my wife because I would feel so guilty the entire time. I mean, I'm gonna feel guilty anyway, but if she's there, it's just kind of like, I'm gonna be going around talking to people, and then she's just gonna be like, whatever. I mean, she would spend 4 days at the Beretta booth.
Well, my wife, what she does is she takes the kids. They go to Circus. They'll go to the aquarium and stuff. But and then what we usually do, we usually end up going to like the Grand Canyon or stuff. But now my oldest is in school, so we haven't been able to do that because we don't want to take him out of school.
Yeah. Wait, and the one thing for me is that Vegas is just on the other side of I-15 from me. When I say other side, I do mean like 2 days drive, but at least, I'm up here in Helena. I get on I-15 and I get off at Vegas. So at least for me, it's a straight shot down. But yeah, my wife and I, neither one of us are big Vegas fans, which is so funny. Everybody like, oh, Vegas, we're not crowd people. We would prefer to be somewhere else and just be left alone. But I want to go down. I want to meet some of the people I know in the industry and stuff like that. So I'll deal with the crowd.
Yeah, I end up going to Vegas a couple times a year for different events. I mean, I like Vegas. I actually do. I'm from the East Coast, and getting outside of Vegas and seeing the desert and everything, because the East Coast is so freaking crowded.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it's just everything's packed in on the East Coast, so you don't have that big open nothingness.
John, why do you think I left the East Coast?
Yeah.
Especially a state that's now trying to pass. You got to you have to have a permit to buy a gun.
Yeah. What state is that?
Delaware.
Delaware. Home
See,
of the Bidens.
Yeah, I grew up. Hey, man, I tried my best to vote him out of Congress when I lived in Delaware. The sad thing is, I grew up outside of Philly, and then I ended up living in northern Maryland. And you talk about going from gun freedom to anti-gun. And then when I moved to Delaware, I'm like, oh, this is awesome, because I was always jealous of everybody in Delaware, because you just go in and buy a gun and walk out with it. And then now to see what they're doing in that state, they're just completely destroying that state.
Yeah.
And,
they named a rest stop after Biden in Delaware.
Yeah, there's only like one.
It was named after Biden now.
Yeah, he's let's just say I've known he was an idiot for a long time. I mean, he's really just. I mean, everybody's like, he stumbles and all that stuff. He's been doing that for years. Anybody from Delaware knows it. He's just hit it from the national stage until, fairly recent, which, fairly recent being the past, 10 years.
Yeah. Oh, I just saw a question. Space Texan wants to know the chamber pressure of a 22 short. I think it's 21,000 psi. Max pressure. Pretty sure. I'll go with 21,000 psi. Well, that's just what I think. But yeah. You know what? No, let me tell you something really cool, right? IV-88 is coming up, right? JSD Armory, which is out there, is going to debut their binary Glock trigger.
Oh,
hell yeah!
That sounds fun.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
That sounds a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
If you figure, if you put that into a 17, that would be the closest you could get to having a Glock 18 and being a civilian and legal.
Yeah, I'm thinking about getting my SOT.
Are you?
Yeah.
Is that before or after you get over $6 a gallon gas, when you can find it?
You know what? I think I'm going to make a gasifier.
That would be cool. I thought about that years ago.
I made one a long time ago that powered just a little motor. It wasn't like a car motor or anything. Just a little motor. Damn it. They're trying to sell me a beach house. Sorry, guys. I'm serious. We're looking at beach houses. And
which beach?
Down near Virginia Beach area, maybe one of the nicer beaches around there. Virginia Beach is getting kind of ghetto.
Yeah, well, I mean, Virginia Beach. I mean, you got the base there, so it's been a little crowded for a long time. But yeah, it's the novelty of Virginia Beach has worn off years ago.
Dark Light Dugan's gonna go in with the SOT 0702 SOT with me. Hell yeah, let's do it. Yeah, Virginia Beach is it's definitely getting ghetto-ish. Maybe somewhere in North Carolina. I don't know, man. My wife wants that. I want something up in the mountains with some land so I can go shoot. My wife was like, well, why does everything that you want to do involve around being able to shoot? I'm like, I don't know. Just so like I am.
It's fun. Yeah, and that's the thing, out here, we've been looking for a while for some land And for me, I've always needed stable internet to do it with, and that technology is coming about. Um,
Skylink.
I've been on it for 4 months now, almost 5, and I will tell you, this thing is freaking awesome. I mean, it's now become possible for me to go live pretty much anywhere I want.
Yeah, I mean that's the cool thing about Skylink, man. It's just it's really
I
cool.
mean,
My day job, I work from home, and my wife is working from home, so technically we can go live wherever. And I was trying to talk my wife into going to live wherever. Once she retires, I want to move to a state like Tennessee or something like that because they don't tax military retirement.
nice.
I'm like, yeah, we got to go there.
Well, you can always go to Wyoming and they don't tax income.
Yeah, but dude, my wife's from like New York City.
That'd be that's a little bit of a jump for her.
She went from New York City, and then she went to the DC area, which is also high paced. Do you think she's going to be able to go from New York City area to DC area to Wyoming?
Oh, totally.
No
it would be
way
the
in
best
hell.
thing for her.
Palermo, New York City, Palermo, New York City, and DC are the cities. Oh, we've had a little time when she lived in Korea for the military, but yeah. So those are the cities she's used to.
Yeah, it's funny is like, you and I, we would go out to the sticks to be less stressful. She would become more stressed.
I know. Well, I grew up outside DC, so I'm used to the pace and politics and everything else.
Do you remember DC 101 back in the 80s?
Of course, man.
When they used to have the Grease Man on?
Yeah, ooh, yeah, the Grease Man. Yeah, he got fired from DC 101 because he
or used to have Don and Mike in the morning.
Yeah, Don and Mike. Don is retired. They brought Mike came back for like a show for a little bit, but it failed. When Don's wife died, that was like it for him.
I can see that. I'll tell you that probably the best thing that Don and Mike did for a stunt was, that's back when they used to have the Yugos. It was like you could get like 7 Yugos if you won this contest, and it was the grossest thing you could do in a minute. And people were like, I could eat canned dog food, blah blah blah. But the winner was drink a glass of water out of the Potomac. He was the winner.
Potomac is no way in hell you die.
Yeah, he was in the hospital the next day.
I bet he was.
But he got 7 Yugos.
Yeah. Yeah, Potomac. Yeah, Greaseman got fired a couple different times.
Yeah, I think he's been fired from every gig.
Well, he always says something really racist.
Yeah.
Like about the Martin Luther King thing when he made a joke that says, if we kill 4 more, we can get the whole week off, which was not in too good of a taste. And I have no idea why he thought that was going to be acceptable.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing is he was funny. And then there's people that would get close to the line. He would just jump over it. And you're like, dude, that was not cool,
But yeah, you're gonna get fired.
Yeah, it's like, and he did.
Yeah, and like MK Joe says, Greaseman, there's a pic of him at my range. Yeah, those were the days, man.
But yeah,
Howard Stern was on DC 101 back in the 80s.
Yeah, you see, I used to listen to Stern in Philly on up on the radio there, and then he went into outer space, so that kind of sucked for a little bit. But I remembered Stern when he had his TV show.
Yeah,
and the stuff he used to pull on that TV show was Well, it's MTV now.
Yeah. Good old days.
Yeah.
I always say, like my wife, when my wife asked me how warm it is, I'm always like, it's 15 fun loving degrees. She was like, why do you always say that? It's like, you used to always say that on Dynamite. She's like, who the hell is
Yep.
Dynamite?
Yeah.
Because my wife didn't really grow up listening to American radio or watching American TV shows. It's all Italian stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Well, or you used to have half 100 when it was 50 degrees out. Half 100 out.
yeah.
God. Yeah, that's gone back a few years.
Yeah,
But
it is.
so technology wise, man, it's been interesting. It's been an interesting few days technology wise.
Yeah, don't open up freaking emails, people.
Well, it depends. If you're a pipeline operator, don't open up an email. If you're a cybersecurity consultant like I am, open them up all you want.
Yeah, but you probably open them up on VM sandboxes and stuff.
I do. Yeah. There's a very specific network that I open them up on for research in. But yeah, it cracks me. It cracks me up as how many times, and we've been saying it. If you don't know who it's from, you're not expecting it, don't open it.
Well, wait, here's the thing. I've always preached, don't pit the pipeline. Don't connect computers that are connected to the internet to the pipeline.
Yeah, that's the thing that kills me about this stuff is when I heard this and I started reading through, all the trade stuff I get, and I'm like, why is an office computer? Why can it even get anywhere near the pipeline controls?
Yeah, I mean that's one of the things that I've actually brought up in the past when I've consulted on projects, on a couple pipeline projects. It's like, dude, what the hell are you doing? Why are these connected? They should not be connected. They're like, well, and their reasoning is, hey, well, if we need to get a file on there, it's like you need to get a file on there. You put it on a flash drive,
sneaker net it.
Yeah, you sneaker net. You don't, but it was like, this is more efficient. Well, guess what?
Yeah, and I understand. I mean, and I'm going to probably bore everybody here, but I mean, like, you're in cybersecurity. We're trying to balance out the CIA triad: confidentiality, availability, and integrity. But sometimes you need that availability to be really small. And in almost like everybody's talking about there, air gap, you have to get some of that infrastructure out there where it is just not touchable. And if you're running pipeline, power plant, just name a critical infrastructure. There's some stuff that should not be reachable unless it is a major pain to get there.
Yeah, in the government, you have like ClassNet and ClearNet, right? ClearNet is, it has some access to the internet, not total access to the internet. Like when I was in the State Department, we had ClassNet, ClearNet, and then we had our internet boxes. ClearNet was like highly locked down, but there's still some access to the internet. The internet was full access because what I did, I needed full access. And then we had ClassNet, which didn't touch any network. If you needed to get something from the ClearNet onto the ClassNet, it was a chore because you weren't gonna, everything had to be checked and double checked, before scanned and looked over. Multiple people had to review it before it was allowed because of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Hunter Biden.
That's what I was laughing at. The sad thing is living in Delaware and consulting in Delaware, when the whole Hunter Biden laptop thing came out, totally didn't surprise me because I was doing some work for some for a law enforcement agency in Delaware, and they got called up by one of the local computer shops to. The guy was totally freaking out, and they're like, "Hey, well, calm down. What's going on?" I'm like, well, I've got this computer, and it came in for repair, and you know, they finally got out that the guy found out that the computer for repair had kiddie porn on it, and the guy was totally freaking out. It's like, I didn't do it, and they're like, "Chill, you reported it. It's okay. Let's come in." And so when the Hunter Biden thing came out, where stupid stuff on a laptop it ends up in a repair shop like that, totally didn't surprise me.
I liked how he said, I don't know if that's a picture of me smoking crack or not.
Yeah.
Like, okay, then that basically answers the question, because if someone said, "Hey, John, we got a picture of you smoking crack," I'd be like, "No, you don't."
Yeah.
You know, it's like, no, you don't. Like, it's photoshopped or something, but you don't have a picture of me. You're not going to hear me go up. Maybe it is me. Maybe it isn't. I don't know.
Well, I used to like the emails, the spam emails. Used to get we have a picture of you surfing porn, and we activated your webcam, and we have video of you doing certain things, and blah blah blah. And I remember one time, I answered back. They're like, "If you don't pay us in Bitcoin within 24 hours, we're releasing the video." My response was, "Release the video." And the guy got it. The guy actually responded to me. I'm like,
"Yeah,
oh, dude,
they will.
You're dumb. I've got you now." And I just started tracking. Them down.
Yeah, I tracked a couple using a Grabify link. Grabify is awesome, man. You can create links that will redirect, and they have all these different domains to make it look like legit, and then you can find out. And then even if they're using a VPN, you can set it to check the time on their local PC. Yeah. And you're like, you're in Lego. You're in Legos. Yeah. No, I'm not. Yeah. I'm in New York. Look at my IP. It's like, yeah, but your clock says you're in Legos.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and that's the fun. That's the fun part. I love screwing with hackers. I had a phone call one time. It came into my cell phone, so I'm like, okay, this is a little weird. And they go, they're like, "Yes, we're the IT department for your company." Now, mind you, I'm standing right in the middle of the IT department for my country, and nobody has an accent like that. And like, "Yes, we want to do, we need to get on your computer to do this, that, and the other." And I'm like, okay, now I'm going to screw with you. Everybody's like looking at me, and I'm like pulling a laptop out, throwing on a quick Linux image of it, and connecting it to an external network that's not on ours. And they're like, "Go here, go there," and I'm like, click the start button. I'm like, "I don't have a start button." Like, "Hey," I said, "down bottom." No, I don't have a start button. And then finally they realize it's Linux. "Oh, well, go here." "Oh, okay, yeah, I have that." And then finally, when I finally let them onto the computer, the desktop wallpaper says, "You're busted," and a few other words. And they're like, "What's this?" And meanwhile, I have everything I need from them.
What you do is, this is what I do, right? What I do is I will put a fake bake statement on the desktop that's actually a exe, right? That will install some type of backdoor. It used to be back orifice back in the day, but there's other programs now. I don't want to give out too much information. I don't want you miscreants to go freaking rooting other people's computer, rootkit people's computer. But basically, you make it look like a bank statement. So they'll download it and they'll click on it, open it up, and what they're doing is they're installing it. Then I have control of the computer, and then I just fuck up the whole network or f up the whole network. But that's only when I get bored.
Well, I worked for a bank, and like there's only so many things we can do. I mean, being in the States, the only thing that we're really legally allowed to do is shun an attack. We're not allowed to attack back. But there's one country that does not have that law. And a lot of security companies are based out of there, a country like Israel. And basically, you turn the attack over to them, and they go screwing with the people because their laws are open to do that. And I don't know. I turned it over to our security people, and they take care of it. And yeah, they start doing takedowns and crap like that.
Yeah, we do that too. And like I used to have a job where I did for the government. It wasn't a big secret or anything like that, but you would study cyber attacks and stuff like that and figure out what they do and how to reverse some, basically.
Yeah. It's one of those things that when you start going down this rabbit hole of cybersecurity, it's kind of fun, and then you get that holy shit moment of, this is just the tip of the iceberg. What I know, what does everybody else have? Maybe cats. Yeah, that's a good program. I've used that a few times. And you just realize that as much as you know, there's a whole lot more that you don't know. And what you know is scary enough as it is. I used to come back from conferences, and, bosses would sit there and they're like, "What'd you learn?" And I start telling them, they're like, "Thanks. I have a whole new thing that I'm not going to sleep over now." Like, yeah, you should try being on this side. You got to remember, I'm the one that's got to shun all these attacks.
Yeah, I mean, I was a black hat hacker back in the 80s and 90s until the late 90s, until I started figuring that I found out that when I was like in high school and stuff, and once I got in college, I found out, hey man, I can make some money if I switch sides.
Well, and that's the funny,
or I can go to jail if I don't.
Well, look at all the top security people in the industry. All right.
Yeah.
Most of them came from the black hat, area.
Yeah. The Kevin Paulsons.
Yeah.
Kevin Mitnick.
Most of them. Yeah. Kevin Mitnick. I mean, look at Kevin Mitnick. I mean, Captain Crunch. He makes more money now than he ever did as black hat.
Yeah.
Can't own a gun.
It's good money, man.
Can't own a gun.
Yeah, but I never got busted. The closest I did when I was like 16 was accessing the Small Business Administration, and I got caught doing that. But I was like, actually, it was a little young. I think I was like 15, 14 years old. That's when they didn't have the internet, so you had to dial in and stuff like that.
Dialer.
Yeah, exactly. And I got caught doing that, but they just basically said don't do it again because laws back then weren't as stringent as now. If at 14, I would be in freaking handcuffs.
Well, and that's the funny thing is for me, my gateway drug was the movie. What was your movie? I bet you it's the same one as mine. War Games.
What's that?
War Games.
War Games was awesome. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I really have a. If I do have a gateway movie, it would be War Games with the Whopper.
That's with the Whopper. That's what I was like. I totally want to do that, right? And then,
honestly, I started the whole breaking encryption and stuff like that. I started messing around with encryption and stuff like that when I was 5. So I was I don't know. I was I don't even like it anymore, man. That's the sad part. I started like doing like cracking encryption and stuff like that when I was like 5 years old, and now I'm like 45. So I'm like sick of it.
Yeah,
But they have something called the golden handcuffs.
yeah.
So it's not like I would love to do the. I mean, if you guys keep on subscribing to my Patreon, maybe I can give up the whole consulting part of my life. But like an hour of consulting pays more than I make in like a month doing this.
Yeah, I know it's one of those things is that I get, I get the black hat side. I do, but when I first started, in computers, the whole black hat side was about notoriety. It wasn't about money. They were doing it for fame.
Yeah, it's not like that anymore, man.
No, this stuff. This is organized crime now.
You had notoriety, and then you had the other people that was just to explore and test their skills.
Yeah, totally.
Now it's like cybercrime and stuff like that, ransomware and stuff like that. Space Texan brings up a good point. There was a movie called Sneakers with Robert Redford that was an excellent movie, and it still holds. And he's right; it still holds up to the day. Yeah. It's a hacking movie. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
I have actually. It was. I just watched it again not that long ago because it was on Amazon Prime.
Oh, I gotta go watch it then because I haven't watched that movie in years. But it's a freaking great movie. It's like a really good movie.
It is. I mean, and the whole thing about that movie where everybody had their specialty, and they came together for that job. That was just awesome. I mean, I was to say that one of my favorite things is when they threw him in the trunk, and he's trying to explain to the blind guy about everything he heard, and they're now like, okay, that's this bridge because of the gaps in the bridge. You're hearing the tire thunk, and then he starts talking about it. He goes, then I heard a cocktail party, and it was the geese.
Yeah,
and it's like, yeah, there's just things you don't think of. Again, I don't plan on ever being in the trunk of a car.
Hopefully not.
But yeah.
Well, here's the thing, man. The biggest part, people ask me, hey, when it comes to cybersecurity, if security is so good, how do these hackers still keep on getting around security? And I go, well, it's a twofold thing. One, it's an arms race, right? You get better, they get better, you get better, they get better, you fix it, they find it. But the biggest weakness, we can't patch. And that's what I tell everyone. The biggest weakness back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and even the 2020s is the same thing. And that is the end user. There's going to be, there's no patch for social engineering. There's education, but people have to put that education into effect. And that's hard. Because you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make a horse not click on a link on an email.
What's so funny about that is, the human is definitely the weakness. You can design the most secure system in the world, and someone's going to be an idiot and completely, screw it up.
There's no reason to attack a firewall.
No, it's much cheaper and easier to attack the person than it is the firewall.
You spear phishing.
Instead of going after your control head on, I'm going to try to go around it. It's much easier to go around it. But what I find funny is that even then, humans have certain weaknesses. Like if you're doing physical security, and you're going to show up with a clipboard, you're going to look official, you're going to have the shirt of the telephone company, whatever. If you run into a receptionist that's older, they're cranky and have nothing but time to screw with you and see who you really are. But if I send them a phishing link, they're going to click on it every time.
Oh yeah. It's very, like, especially spear phishing.
Yeah.
Spearfishing is phishing is sending out an email to try to just pretend like you're someone else to get them to click on a link. Spearfishing is a targeted attack against someone.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
those targeted attacks are very, very effective.
Well, I was talking to a pen tester, it was years ago, and I was talking to him. I go, what was your favorite engagement? And he was telling me about this engagement he had that the rules of engagement were wide open. And they're like, wide open? He's like, yeah. He goes, we are so secure, there's no way you're gonna get in. 2 days later, they were in. And he's like, well, how did you do that? Well, we friended your daughter on Facebook and told her that we were having a reunion coming up and we'd really like to see her and blah, blah, blah. And then while she was doing that, we injected malware into her computer. You came home from work and you were on the same network. We pivoted to your laptop and you carried us in. And he got all mad. And they're like, but you're the one that said the rules of engagement were wide open. We'd never get in.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, here's another thing that we used to do when we pen tested, and it wasn't my idea. This is like basically an old pen testing trick that people use for years. Is put malware on flash drives and just throw them in the parking lot.
Yeah. Well, we used to do that when
stick it in the drive you're in.
Yeah. Well, we used to do that all the time at the bank I used to work at. And you'd stick it in and we'd know who your username you logged in at and all that stuff. But I'm going to cross over from security to guns real quick.
Oh yeah, because they're not really a security.
Yeah, I know. But
you get two internet security experts that like guns.
I mean, and that's always the problem when you get the two of us on, that we start geeking out.
Yeah. Yeah.
But have you ever met Deviant Olem?
Who?
Deviant Olem.
No.
Okay. So Deviant does physical security. He's out of Philly. He was here in Montana for a little bit. Scary good at physical security. But what's so funny is you have to go find it on YouTube. It was at Black Hat. He did a session called Packing in the Friendly Skies. Because security people, we love our guns. It's just kind of weird. We all like guns and we all like going shooting and stuff like that. So he liked guns too. But to pack his gear, because he's got really expensive gear, he's going through the airline system. He has these old mortar boxes, the old mortar tube boxes that he painted, and he would put his laptop and all of his hacking gear in there, and this stuff would always disappear. So what he would do is he would show up with these things, and he'd go, "I'm checking in my firearm," and then he would put a gun in each one of those boxes. So then he could put his big ass padlock on it, and no one can open his stuff, and his shit always showed up on the other side. And it was just funny. It was funny that he would actually use the laws to make sure his stuff showed up.
Yeah. I mean, that's what you have to do.
Yeah. So I started going through the links there, or the comments. It's funny.
Yeah, a lot of people know about security out there.
Yeah.
Or hacky movies. Well, I'll tell you one thing, what you do if you want to get a gun through. No, I shouldn't tell you how to get a gun through the airport. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to tell people that. But yeah, there's a way to get it through.
Yeah. It's funny, they're talking about lock picking. Swamp Dog was talking about lock picking. I'm guessing he's answering someone above. Yes, I do carry a lock pick set with me.
You ever watch the lock picking lawyer?
I love that channel.
Dude, that dude is like, people just send him shit. Like, you can't break this. And like, he's like 30 seconds. His things are like 2 minutes long. People send him this stuff. Tell him, you can't pick this. This is unpickable lock. then like he the videos are like a minute long. He's like, I do it.
Yeah, he's awesome. But
Dude,
it's so
that
funny.
dude knows a lot about lock picking.
Well, what's funny is that you go into the competitions. I mean, it used to be, the red flag competitions where it was just nothing but hacking on this network to go get, capture the flag. But then I guess probably about almost 10 years ago, the capture the flag, those competitions changed where you captured the flag. Awesome. Now go pick a bunch of locks, and you're not through until you're done. You're not done until you pick that lock. So you could be really good at the capture the flag part, but then someone who's good at the physical security can actually beat you because they eventually figured out how to capture the flag, but you're sitting there farting around with this lock, and they just go up and get right through.
Yeah, if Base Section brings up the fact that 90% of padlocks can be opened with a simple tap, that's one thing that he always shows. Like how like you get through it. You don't have to pick the lock. There's ways you can hit it and it just open up. You do have a lot of gun locks too, which is scary.
I've messed around with gun locks too. So I was at my mom's house. She still lives on the East Coast, and we actually had this Smith and Wesson 41 that's been missing for a long time. And I'm like, well, it's not my place. It's not my sister's because she lives in Europe. It's got to be in my mom's house. So eventually, going through her basement, I finally found an old pistol safe with the touchpad, the 4-digit touchpad. But I couldn't get into it because the battery had been dead for years and all this. I bet it's in this thing. And that's when I pulled a Bic pen out and I just jammed it because I had one of the cylinder locks. I just jammed it in just back and forth a few times, and the thing opened up. And my mom's like, "Well, that's unnerving. Where did you learn how to do that?" I go, "Do you not know what I do for a living?" They teach physical security. So I defeated that lock in like, I don't know, about a minute. And there was that Smith and Wesson 41 sitting right in there.
I mean, I want to get more into the physical side of stuff.
I've started to. I enjoy the physical security side. I really do. It's a lot of fun. But you really should go see Deviant's webpage because he does Black Hat and all that stuff. He's a presenter. He's talking about he does videos where he takes a can of compressed air, and here you can't the door's locked and all that stuff. He just sticks the thing through upside down, sprays. It's all the frozen mist goes in. It trips the infrared right on the other side, and the door unlocks for him because it thinks there's somebody on the other side.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I got word back. The ATF has no clue when the comment period will begin.
It's funny. I've been waiting for that to open up too.
Well, it's not. They're saying that they have to wait for. I reached out to the press office. They're saying they have to wait for the federal registry to lift it, and they haven't listed it before the comment period will begin.
They don't want the comment period to begin. They just want to do it. And I tell you, that one scares me. I'm not gonna lie, that one scares me. It's a little too open worded on things. Well, first of all, I don't want any of it, but basically, you're going to have the way I read it. You could have a serial number on your firing pin now. Well, now you break your firing pin. You got to go fill out a 4473 to get a brand new new firing pin.
Yeah. Okay. This is the way it works. I haven't written an article on there because of reasons.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say right now. Reasons. But what it is if something is serialized before, then it's assumed to be a firearm. So let's say Glock serializes their parts, right? The slides, barrels, whatever. Because that's serialized, they consider that to be a firearm. But let's say, I don't know, Smith and Wesson doesn't serialize their barrels, then a Smith and Wesson barrel wouldn't be considered a firearm because it's not serialized by the company to begin with. But since Glock serialized their barrels, then there you go. It's more to it, and I plan to write an article on it, but it's going to be used for something, so I'm not going to get too much into it.
Stay tuned, and
Stay tuned.
You'll find out.
Yeah, me writing an article on the whole thing with everything I know would actually hurt all our calls right now. So
yeah,
I'm gonna refrain from talking too much about what you're talking about right now. I don't want to give out. I don't want to accidentally spill the beans.
No, and that's the thing. That's the thing with you is you know a lot of stuff, but it's when it should be used. Yeah, the timing of when it should be used,
or who should use it,
or should exactly even who should use it is critical.
Yeah, that's why I work with gun rights organizations and some senators and some stuff like that. Some politicians to give them the correct information or how to use the information.
I mean, let's face it. All right. So you're used to the 3D printing world. There's a certain
I don't talk about it that much, but yeah.
No, but there's a certain creator out of Europe, and this law, and he figured out how to do EDM barrels and stuff like that because, well, he has laws in Europe that says that a barrel is a firearm. And it has to be
European
serialized.
Standard. Almost everything needs to be serialized. That's why Glock's barrels is serialized because of the European standard.
Yeah. So this is just coming here now. I mean, this is really what they want to do.
Yeah, they definitely want to get it to the European standard. I don't think that's any surprise.
No, I don't think it is either. But it's funny when I heard this. That's the first thing that went through my mind. Going, this is the European standard. This is what they're trying to do. That's why it's modernize. They just want to modernize it so that way it's in sync with the most gun restricted laws out there.
Yeah. 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 I just got to send a document really fast. I have some information on David Chipman.
I mean, other than he likes to burn down buildings and kills people.
It takes pictures.
And takes pictures. Yeah, it takes pictures in front of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's got there's a special place in hell for him.
Yeah, there definitely is. There definitely is. Hopefully he will not get confirmed.
Hopefully.
I mean, that would be like them putting me in charge of the like the ATF or something like that,
Yeah, it's the direct opposite.
I mean, it's like, let's put me in charge of something that, what do I don't agree? I don't agree with a lot of stuff, right? For example, with the federal government, I don't agree with prohibition of any type of drug, really. So I don't do any drugs, but I don't believe that they should be prohibited. So that would be like me being in charge of the DEA.
Yeah, I mean, the legalization thing, I'll admit, I think there's some things I think and this is where my libertarian beats up, my libertarian and my conservatism, they kind of clash. I'm fine with some legalization, there's still some things I'm just not prepared for yet. You know, first of all, I don't partake. I think it's stupid, but I don't care if you do. You know, I mean, if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. As long as you don't get behind a car and go, you know, start running people down and stuff like that, I really don't care. But like Oregon with the hard narcotics, I'm just not quite ready for that step yet. You know, on the other side of this, I also don't think it should be regulated. I mean, quite frankly, we're talking about regulating plants. And I mean, you could drink a soda and that thing's probably worse for you than what you just smoked. Because, you know, that soda is just nothing but chemicals. So you're gonna say we're gonna legalize something that exists naturally in nature?
Yeah,
But
well,
that's kind of where I get into some of my problems.
yeah. Well, I'm gonna thank you for the video. I see that over there now. Well, you know what I think? I'm going to be ATF director. GSD wants me to be ATF director. I will be ATF director. They all know me over there.
Yeah.
So why not, right?
Yeah.
I mean, apparently Marvin Richardson told people that I can go to hell or something like that. He's about to take over the ATF on the 30th.
Yeah, I think you should run. I think you should get nominated for it.
Yeah, that would be awesome, but I don't. I just don't see. I don't know. I just don't think that.
Look at it this way: the confirmation hearings would be hilarious, right? If nothing else, the confirmation hearings would be funny to watch.
Mr. Crump, you once said that people should be able to own rocket launchers. Were you kidding? No.
No. Not at all.
Well, you know, what? You think people should be able to own nuclear bombs? Can they afford to make them?
Oh, yeah. Well, let me see. As far as I know, there's been no private citizens in the United States that has misplaced a nuclear weapon.
Yeah. They're actually the government. We've lost like 7.
Yeah. Well, then we've lost more than 7. There's 7 still unaccounted for.
Yeah, 7. There's one in Georgia in some freaking swamp that they dropped by accident, and they can't. And they never found it in freaking Georgia.
So yeah, it's just. I mean, you know,
JSD would pay a large sum of money.
And that's one of the things I think about. It's like, you know, I was just thinking about it this morning for some reason when I was making breakfast. If the federal government was a person, they would not pass a background check to own a firearm.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But if I was being considered for the ATF head of director, but like, we heard you have a plan to streamline the 4473s. Yes. What's your plan? Not to have them.
Yeah. Well, let me refer you to the Paperwork Reduction Act. We've deemed this to be an unnecessary form.
What is the ATF going to do? Well, since we're alcohol, firearms, and tobacco and explosives, we're going to take that stuff and distribute it across the country.
Yeah, it's sad.
Well, you know, ATF's not even didn't come from the ATF came from freaking the IRS, Department of Taxation.
Well, I mean, the ATF, no one really knew. The ATF is kind of like the Coast Guard was. No one knew where to put them. They just kind of bounced around. I mean, Coast Guard eventually ended up in DHS. Quite frankly, I'm surprised that ATF is still part of DOJ. I'm surprised they haven't moved them over to DHS. I mean, DHS seems to be the all-consuming power from 9/11.
Yeah. I mean, we definitely do need like NSA, CIA, and stuff like that. I think in a limited fashion.
Well, I'm kind of in this in a thing. Yes, we need to know what's going on out there. Don't get me wrong, but let's just stop screwing around with people, and maybe they'll stop screwing with us back. I mean,
Yeah.
there's always going to be the black arts out there. I mean, let's face it. You're not going to get rid of it, and I don't know if I'd want to, but I think that there's some agencies that have a little too much power. And then you get your secret FISA courts and crap like that. That they kind of need to be reeled in a little bit.
Oh, definitely. FISA approved what is it? 96% of all FISA warrants 96% get approved, which is insane.
Yeah, I mean, it's just there's a serious lack of oversight over some of this stuff.
Yeah.
And it just needs to be reeled in a little bit.
Yeah, it does. Well, I got cleaning people coming tomorrow, and they're going to be doing the carpets. So I have to move basically all my lights, studio lights, and everything else, which is going to be a pain in the ass.
Well, I don't want to show you how bad it'd be to move all the shit in my studio, but yeah, I
that's
get
what
it.
that's what I'm going to be doing tonight. Fun, right?
Hey, I'll tell you what. I'll be there. Just wait for me.
All right,
I'll help you out.
That's awesome. Just jump on a plane, man.
Just jump on a plane.
But I want to thank you for coming on. I want to thank you for coming on. I'm going to give you the final word. But just if you like what I do here and you want to support me, you can hit that join button below, or you can get on my Patreon, patreon.com/John Crump. You can get like awesome patches and awesome rewards and stuff like that. It will help me do what I do more efficiently and let me upgrade my gear a little bit to do since everything's opening back up. I have some live stream stuff planned and some trips planned to go around and to do a lot of stuff like that. And plus, everything that I don't use for the channel goes to charity 100%. I don't keep a profit for myself, and none of it goes back into my own pocket. And to tell you the truth, the live stream stuff I'll probably pay for myself and just give all the money to charity. Everything goes to charity usually. I haven't taken any money for myself from any of the stuff. But yeah, so with that said, I'm going to kick it over to Rogue Banshee for the final word. Then we get out of here and we'll see you next week. Oh, sorry, my son just scared the hell out of me. All right, go ahead.
He's being attacked. Well, I'm going to keep it sweet. Don't click on attachments. If you don't know who it is, you don't know where it's coming from, just delete it. Get rid of it. Don't click.
All right. Cool. Thank you, Jason.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks. Bye.
You've been watching Fireside Chats with John Crump, a Black Swan Media Group production. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Tune in every week for a conversation with the difference makers in the world.
We are actually, we're not out.